New today, the government shutdown is now tying the record for the longest in U.S. history. And sources tell CNN that both the House and the Senate are discussing some bipartisan off-ramps. In the Senate, where Republicans need votes from Democrats, we're told negotiations include a new short-term funding bill and a promise of a standalone vote to extend health insurance subsidies. But given that there's no guarantee the vote on subsidies would actually pass the Senate, and even more so in the House, it's unclear whether enough Democrats will accept that. And then in the House, a group of 4 bipartisan lawmakers have announced a potential deal to extend the subsidies. Their plan would extend subsidies for 2 years, add an income cap between $200,000 and $400,000 for eligibility. It would also add more guardrails to prevent improper payments, but it's unclear if party leadership has signed off on the proposal. And just a short time ago, President Trump said he's withholding SNAP benefits until the shutdown is over. Doing that would not only defy a court order, it would also deny tens of millions of Americans money that they use to buy food. Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley of California is with us now. Thank you so much for joining us in studio here, and a lot to talk about. But first off, this bipartisan framework in the House, talking about a way forward on the shutdown. Do you know if GOP leadership supports it? Do you support it?
I don't know about GOP leadership, but I'm actually releasing my own bipartisan framework that I've been working on with a colleague in California today, where we essentially endorse the general principles of that framework, namely that we need to have it be a temporary or limited duration extension. There needs to be cost controls, and then there needs to be some protections against improper payments. And so we're not putting in specific numbers because I think all of that is kind of subject to negotiation between the two parties and between the two houses, but I think that's generally the right approach.
Does this feel like a turning point to you?
I think we're getting closer to some signs of life, yes. And on both sides, the tenor of the conversations has changed.
Okay, so what about this Senate discussion? Because Democrats are weighing whether to accept a standalone vote on an extension of ACA subsidies, these health insurance subsidies. Is that something that you would back?
I think it makes sense. I mean, if the deal is, all right, we open the government and then everyone gets a chance to weigh in, up or down vote. Of course, the trick is what exactly is it we're going to vote on, because there's certain things that need to be negotiated within the parameters I just set out. But there, as I've been saying for a while now, there's interest on both sides in avoiding this cliff that's going to lead to a huge increase in premiums for our constituents. And so if that offers some pathway out of this terrible government shutdown that's having such escalating, compounding consequences, then that's something we should pursue.
SNAP benefits did not go out on the 1st. And then yesterday in a court filing, the USDA said in response to what 2 federal judges said, it will tap into that contingency fund for SNAP benefits to at least make partial food stamp payments this month. Then you heard what the president has now said on social media, quote, that SNAP benefits will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up government, which they can easily do and not before. That sounds like a reversal of what the USDA has said in this court filing. How are you reading that?
I'm extremely troubled by this. The fact that people who rely on these benefits to feed themselves and their family are not getting access to them because of the excessive partisanship here in Washington, D.C. It is a complete failure, and it's no wonder Congress has a 13% approval rating. When it comes to SNAP in particular, I've said that we need to pursue any and all avenues to make sure folks get their benefits. Number one, opening the government's the easiest way to do it. I've also co-sponsored a bill that would say you keep getting SNAP benefits even if the government isn't open. And I do think that the president now has, to the extent the legal authority exists, I think that I'm just seeing that truth post. I think that part of the issue is that it's administratively difficult to issue partial payments because this contingency fund doesn't have enough money in it even for 1 month of total payments, full payments.
There are rolling payments, though. I mean, it could also be easy to issue payments,
yeah,
right?
So to the extent it can be done, I think it needs to be done. People cannot be left without that.
So, but is he talking about defying a court order?
I don't think so. My understanding is that it's just pointing to the fact that it's administratively difficult, but if we had a reopening of the government...
Where are you getting that from?
That's the explanation the White House has put out.
Okay, so Prop 50, which is top of mind for you today. We're watching a lot of elections, but I know this is the one that you were watching most closely on the ballot in your state, which is threatening your very congressional seat. If it passes, it would very much change what your district looks like. And noteworthy that Texas, of course, did redraw its maps first, but the president is questioning at this point the validity of the actual ballot process in your state. He called the entire process a giant scam, but then said in particular the voting itself is rigged. Do you think the voting is rigged? And do you have any concerns? I mean, you need people to come out and support your side in this. Do you have any concerns that that could actually make some people who you need to come to the ballots think twice about not coming?
Well, there's certainly room for improving our election process in California, and in this race, they did suspend a number of the voter protections. They made the process a lot more rushed, but that is what it is. The result tonight, we're going to get it around 11 o'clock Eastern time, and I'll certainly accept the result, and we'll go from there. I voted no, but we'll see what ends up happening. I think gerrymandering is wrong in California. It's wrong in Texas. It's wrong in any state where it's happening. And I think regardless of how this vote comes out in California tonight, we need a national solution to this issue to end gerrymandering in all 50 states.
You have confidence in the process in California right now, even if you might disagree with the outcome.
I certainly think there are things about our elections that can improve. I believe we need voter ID. I think things like ballot harvesting are problematic. The fact that people didn't get the full time you're usually supposed to get in an election here is problematic. But yes, the result will be what it is tonight.
Do you expect it to pass, the redistricting measure?
We'll see. The recent polls show that the yes side is up, but that's one snapshot in time. In California, we often see the no side in propositions gains momentum towards the end. And so I'm certainly hoping it doesn't. I want to continue to represent the beautiful 3rd District as it's currently drawn. But regardless of what happens, I'm confident I'll be able to win re-election to the House.
It is a beautiful district as currently drawn. I can attest to that. Congressman Kiley, thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
We're keeping a close eye on the White House, where Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was just asked about President Trump's threat to withhold SNAP benefits until the government reopens.
Remember, that is despite 2 judges last week ruling that the White House they're forced to pay out what benefits they can out of a contingency fund. Here's how Leavitt responded.
Did the administration distribute that money or defy that court order?
No, the administration is fully complying with the court order. I just spoke to the president about it. The recipients of these SNAP benefits need to understand it's going to take some time to receive this money because the Democrats have forced the administration into a very untenable position. We are digging into a contingency fund that is supposed to be for emergencies, catastrophes, for war. And the president does not want to have to tap into this fund in the future. And that's what he was referring to in his Truth Social post. So the Department of Agriculture, as for the latest SNAP payment in the judge's order, put out guidance to states today on how to get that money to the recipients of SNAP, but it's going to take some time.
Now, some 42 million Americans depend on SNAP. SNAP recipients are really on a roller coaster when it comes to whether they're going to get the funds they desperately need. President Trump posted today on Truth Social that those benefits are not going to be paid while the government is shut down.
Federal judges have ruled differently. On Friday, 2 ordered the White House is obligated to pay those benefits. Earlier today, though, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the White House was complying with those orders, seeming to contradict the president's post. Listen.
The administration is fully complying with the court order. I just spoke to the president about it. The recipients of these SNAP benefits need to understand it's going to take some time to receive this money because the Democrats have forced the administration into a very untenable position.
CNN's Kristen Holmes joins us now live at the White House. Kristen, not sure that actually clears up the confusion about whether those benefits are going to get paid or not.
Yeah, she was clearly trying to clarify or correct President Trump because we saw this enormous role reversal, this course correction that he had today on Truth Social, where he essentially threatened to withhold all of these SNAP benefits until the shutdown was over. But as you noted, this is coming after courts had ruled that some of those benefits still needed to be paid out. So Caroline Leavitt, they're talking about how she spoke to the president, saying that these benefits were still going to come because they are fully complying with the court. So unclear whether or not President Trump didn't understand what exactly was going on or was not read in on this court ruling. I mean, this is really throwing a lot of people into confusion, and their very livelihoods are at stake. Just a reminder, 42 million people in America receive those SNAP benefits, and this kind of jerking around is putting a lot of people at unease.